Ladies and gentlemen, NPBF coaches and fans alike, welcome back to the weekly recap. Here we are primed and ready to give you another week of insane action as per the NPBF directive to consistently churn out top-notch content for you guys. So another week of insane Gen 6 shenanigans for each of the coaches. It was a stellar week of matches. Going over some of the matches the other day to update the doc, it was utterly just spectacular. So, you guys are in for a treat, as per usual. I am not joined by anybody this week. Recording had to get pushed back a couple times. And it is now currently Friday morning when I'm recording this. Frankly, I don't even know if all of it's going to be getting recorded this morning, but we will try. But basically, got to get everything recorded and up as soon as possible, because we'll be recording the next one in a couple days. So I wanted to try to get it out before the week was over. So. Unfortunately, it's just me, so hopefully it'll go by a little quicker, and we can get back to having a plethora of other coaches show up for this one. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop into the matches themselves. We have gone 4 weeks now, by the way, which makes me very happy, without a forfeit, and that makes me very happy. Giving the option of extensions has been amazing for the league as a whole, for sure. Extensions as an option has been great. I believe it has created an environment where people are more willing and more likely to get their battles done on time, or at least make sure that they get them done eventually. Which is great to me, honestly. That's exactly what we want. So, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So, thankfully, that is the case, and hopefully it continues to be that way as the season goes on. We also, for week 4 was extended to 2 weeks long, due to falling on the Thanksgiving holiday. For Americans and whatnot. So, with that being like a big, heavy traveling holiday and whatnot, we wanted to make sure that everyone had ample time to get their games done, and that that wouldn't be a problem. So, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at possibly one of the most hyped matchups of the week, and it came out first for us, which is what a way to start the week. We have Chris and Nottingham Neolegos with his Mega Alakazam, Yen Mega, Porygon 2, Garchomp, Rotom Heat, and Conkeldurr, taking on Alex and his Greenwich Giratinas with his infamous Sylveon, Infernape, Mega Gallade, Hydreigon, Crobat, and Steelix. Really solid matchup here on paper. No side really looks like it has an advantage over the other. Both sides, you can very clearly see, have things that stand out to take care of the other side's biggest threats. So it's going to be an absolute slugfest in this one, I assure you. We'll see which side pulls out on top and throws the biggest punches. So we're going to see the Infernape lead here against the Rotom Heat. Obviously, he's going to want a U-turn out there. Not a favorable matchup, as we do see the Thunder Wave onto the Sylveon. Rotom's going to Volt Switch out because he can't really do much in this situation, so very unfortunate for them. But Yen Mega has to take a Hyper Voice, and that is just way too much damage. That is absurd damage. Steelix comes in and chews those Air Slashes, just gets its rocks up. Is not too worried about what this thing's doing here. Definitely not considering this Yen Mega to be a threat. And he sets up a sub. Takes the Bug Buzz from behind the sub and starts to roar. And that is Oh, that is dangerous. That is a deadly, deadly, deadly little situation as he sets up the Toxic on the Garchomp as well. So he's got Rocks up, he got the Yanmega out, so the Yanmega is dead because Chris does not have any form of hazard removal on his team at this point. Rotom does not get Defog yet in Gen 6. So, yeah, he's already dead. That's crazy. Full para there is very unfortunate, but Sylveon is able to take out the Garchomp there very, very effectively. Eats those Dazzling Gleams up and does a massive, massive chunk to that Alakazam. He's going to be able to protect and get those leftovers back, which is very, very crucial. And it lives again and gets the Wish off. Oh my goodness. Chris at this point just kind of has to hope for a full para at this point. I think he probably... I understand why he kept clicking Dazzling Gleam. I didn't want to get caught slipping there, but definitely I think at that point you very clearly saw that he was just trying to get his Sylveon back up, and it was about time to just start clicking Psyshock. I think if he clicked Psyshock a lot sooner, Sylveon was done, and that thing was a huge threat to his team. Yanmega is going to go another Rocks there, which is important for sure. Steel's getting himself that kill. Hydreigon is paralyzed now, which is unfortunate, but he's going to fire off a Surf here, tank a Tri-Attack from the P2 and get paralyzed. P2's going to start spamming Discharge here as it gets hit by a Draco Meteor and takes nothing. That was not damage. I don't know what that was, but I don't think it was damage. Tri-Attack does a huge chunk to Infernape there. Infernape's going to just click the Close Combat onto the incoming Rotom and knock that thing down in range. Now that thing is basically done for. Decides to switch out. I'm very intrigued by that. Very intrigued by the switch out there because I'm pretty sure there's no world where like Rotom outsped him there, and he could have definitely just killed the Rotom right there. But I guess that gives Conkeldurr like an easy in. Now they'd be at like -2 defenses, so potentially I think maybe he was predicting Conk to come in and threaten him out. So I think going into Sylveon kind of works there. He was already paralyzed, so it does make things a little nicer. The Overheat Miss kind of stinks. I don't know how much that would have done. I don't know what his Rotom spread is. So, who knows what that would have done. I don't believe it would have killed because that was a very bulky Sylveon, but you just never know. So Thunder Wave comes out again, and Hydreigon is once again paralyzed. And once again hits the P2 with that Surf. I feel like we've already experienced this exact same set of turns, except one of them had a Draco Meteor come out. Ooh, burn off the Tri-Attack on Crobat. That is very unfortunate, but Crobat's going to be able to get the Toxic off onto P2 here. It does go down to the burn against the P2, but that is fine because having that Toxic off on that Porygon is going to make it incredibly easy to deal with now going forward. Fernie's going to be able to take out the Rotom here now after Rocks. Just goes for the close combat against the Conk. Wants to keep it weakened down as he does go for the Poison Jab, predicting the potential Sylveon. Sylveon does come back in, and now it can just click Hyper Voice. It can just spam Hyper Voice right now. And it doesn't have to think about anything, which is very, very nice for Alex. You can just spam Hyper Voice. There's no reason to do anything else. He can just keep clicking it, click Protect, and boost up the toxic damage as well. He's putting himself in his best possible position to win. A Discharge Para would be annoying here, but overall I don't think it matters. Then Conk comes back in. Sylveon does indeed outspeed and finish off the Conk with another Hyper Voice. This thing is dangerous, man. This Sylveon has been untouchable this season so far, and Alex is showing why it is one of his favorite Pokemon to draft. So definitely definitely going to have to keep an eye on this threat. The hit is going to be still out on this thing, I'm sure. What a way to start off the week. What a fantastic match to start it off on. Let's just keep the ball rolling. We move on now to Jesse and the J-Dog Jolteons taking on Liam and the Auckland Ambipalms. Quickly, before this matchup, normally I haven't been going over a lot of the free agency transactions that have been taking place this season, and that's mainly just on design of, like, the few here and there that have happened haven't been, like, super massive. They haven't really stood out extremely much, but this is one case where I kind of have to. Jesse basically dropped most of his team. Like, when I went in to do his kill leaders, I thought I missed a week this week, because he has 6 completely different mons on his team now, which is crazy to me. But he dropped Rotom Frost, Cofagrigus, Mega Steelix, Zapdos, and Delphox to pick up Avalugg, Magneton, Mega Beedrill, Volcanion, and Rhyperior. As you can see, 4 out of 5 of those mons do appear on this on the match this week. He also did trade his Empoleon for the Haxorus of the Manila Metals. So he's got a very, very different team. Hopefully this team, once he gets a little used to it, will be able to help him start picking up some wins. So as I did say, the Mega Beedrill, the Volcanion, he still has a Florges, Avalugg, Magneton, and a Zelf, taking on Liam's Ambipom, Piloswine, Milotic, Terrakion, Bronzong, and Mega Venusaur. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what happened here. We see the Ambipom lead against the Beedrill. Beedrill's just going to go for the Protect to get its Mega and its Speed, as it's going to then just go for a nice hearty U-turn there. Very, very good start for Jesse. It does have the Earthquake on the Venusaur, and oh dang, that did no damage at all. Mega Venusaur is just too fat. Gets the knock on the Avalugg's leftovers, as we do see the Avalanche come out on the Bronzong switch and slows down a little bit. Rocks go up from both sides as the Ezelf then gets Toxic. Gonna go for the knockoff, but it turns out to be Culberberry Bronzong. Very unfortunate for Jesse that is the case. He's gonna U-turn out, keep that Ezelf nice and safe, and we're going to see the Avalugg come in here and get Toxic. There is a lot of Toxic shenanigans going on here, my lord. We're going to see a Rep Spin come out from the Avalugg here as the Bronzong goes for a Psychic to keep that thing whittled down. We're going to see the Avalugg get preserved here, which I think is a very interesting call, considering the fact that now it's just dead. It's just dead. You've essentially killed it, which is very unfortunate. But Venusaur's going to go down to a Steam Eruption here after the rocks. Unfortunate that the Venusaur wasn't able to do too much, but it is what it is. We're going to see big damage from that Fake Out from the Ambipom. Fake Out Last Resort. Very solid, very, very solid set. Do very much enjoy that set. Now the Volcanion is also in range of dying to rocks. So no reason in saving it. He goes for the Iron Head with the Terrakion and dies to the Steam Eruption. Very, 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 very unfortunate. He went... it looks like it was a misclick. That really stinks. Volcanion dodges a Toxic too from the Milotic. It would have been really good if he had been able to get something out of that turn. Lucky series of turns there for Jesse, for sure. We're going to see the recover from the Milotic, of course. She's going to go for another Steam Eruption. Get the burn here, which is nice. The nice 12% chip damage each turn. We're going to see a Toxic kill for the Milotic on the Volcanion. He's also going to come in here and knock off the Rocky Helmet from the Milotic, as it's just going to go for a recover here. A little bit more Toxic Chip on the Zelf. He's just going to go for a Zen Headbutt. Don't know if it's trying to flinch or if it's just trying to get some big damage off, but it does not seem like that's going to be the case, as he does miss a Zen Headbutt here. That very much stinks, because the flinch would have been really nice. Would have just died to the Toxic, but Milotic's going to be able to claim another kill there. And man, do I dislike this Mon. I dislike facing this Mon. Floor just goes for a Protect to, obviously burn another Toxic. I'm going to turn up the speed a little bit here, because I foresee this taking a little bit longer. We're going to see a little bit of a... Oh, no. We saw the potential startings of a stall sesh, but we're going to see Magneton come in here and die to the Scald from the Milotic. Mega Beedrill comes in here, ready to smack hard. Obviously, the Bronzong is going to come in and take that Poison Jab for free. Avalugg dies to the rocks, unfortunately. After Beedrill takes out the Zonger, but I'm going to see another big U-turn come into the Piloswine as the Piloswine goes for Earthquake here. Big damage. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just stay in and click it again. After how much damage that did, he would have been able to take out the floor just and probably Ice Shard the Beedrill down. But we do see the Milotic, it gets really low here, and unfortunately is going to be able to heal itself back up before the floor just is able to take it out. And at this point, it's pretty much academic. Milotic's just going to keep itself healthy forever and always. God, this thing just never dies. And Liam is going to pick up a 2-0 win here on the back of Milotic, basically just toxic stalling and breaking down the entirety of the opposing team. Is really tough matchup for Jesse. Not the way you want to start with your fresh team, but I mean, a lot of his changes, none of them really matched up well against Milotic, except for like maybe Magneton. And he took a lot of damage with Magneton very early on, so that made it basically so that, like, no matter what, he was always going to be on the back foot against this thing. So I'm sure that he will bounce back, and especially with his team changes and stuff, he'll be looking to really pick up the pace going forward. So I'm sure that he will be able to do so, because Jesse's a really good player, and this is not emblematic of how good he can be. So I'm very much expecting to see him do well. Liam, continuing to be consistent as a top-notch player as well. No surprise there. But yeah, two great matches to start off the week. Let's see if we can keep up the momentum. On now to Jamie and the Brisbane Rillaboomers taking on Rennie and the Los Angeles Darkrais. Only things of note here at this point in time, I believe these swaps were already available as of the prior week, but he dropped Hippowdon and Dusknoir for Politoed and Aggron, as we do see the Politoed here this week. So just want to make note of that. So we have the Politoed, the Weavile, the Scizor, the Talonflame, the Goodra, and the Granbull from Rennie's side, as we do see the T-Tar Excadrill, Cresselia, Electros, Keldeo, and Mega Banette from Jamie's side. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what is happening here with this one. We see the Mega Scizor here, Mega Evolve turn 1, takes some Rocky Helmet chip from the Electros as it U-turns out, and then the Electros is going to be able to Volt Switch as well. Politoed comes in on the Cresselia as it sets up a Calm Mind. Always a threatening thing to see is a Calm Mind and Cress, as we do see the Psyshock does a little chunk to the Politoed, but it's able to get a Toxic off on the Cresselia. Cress is just going to Calm Mind up once again, as the Scizor comes in under the Rain. Very smart of Rennie to grab Rain with his Scizor. Going to get some more Rocky Helmet chip with the Electros there on the U-turn. Very nice. Electros is going to lose its Rocky Helmet now to the Weavile, as the Life Orb Weavile, as it's going to be able to Drain Punch it and get rid of all of its health. Very, very good play. Very, very good play there. U-Turn is going to be able to take out the Electros now, but well played with the Electros. Living on one, basically, and being able to take it out. We see Focus Blast from the Goodra onto the T-Tar as it sets up the rocks. Very, very good prep on Rennie's part. As he clicks the Thunderbolt as Keldeo comes in, he is playing out of his damn mind right now. Thunderbolt's going to be able to take that Keldeo out. Very unfortunate. Keldeo was not able to get anything going. Excadrill is going to come in here, get intimidated, get off a nice juicy little Earthquake onto the Scramble. And then Banette's going to be able to come in and find the leftovers on that. As he goes for the Super Fang, really, really good turn for Jamie, being able to get Banette in for free. We're going to see it Mega Evolve here and get the Will-O-Wisp onto the Scizor, which is always nice. Goes for the knock, potentially expecting him to switch, I believe. Still gets a decent little chunk of damage. Scizor's going to be able to default, get rid of the rocks on his side. Rennie has been very, very good at maintaining hazard control throughout the course of the season so far. He's roosting up here in front of the Banette as we're going to see the Cresselia come in here on another roost and smack it with a HP Fire. Unfortunately, it doesn't do all that much damage. God, I hate how bulky Mega Scizor is. It's just depressingly fat. We're going to see some more the Toxic start to rack up on the Cresselia as it goes for a Calm Mind here. On the Gramble, switch in. And Psyshock's just doing nothing, man. And now the Heal Bell from the Gramble to get rid of the burn on the Scizor. Very, very, very unfortunate. Crest goes for Moonlight, but Moonlight is obviously weakened while in rain, which definitely does not help the situation whatsoever. And it's just going to get slowly chipped down. In Power Fire doing obviously nothing in the rain even as well. We're going to see the Toxic take out the Cresselia. Politoed getting itself a kill. T-Tar comes in, gets up its Sand, and goes for a Thunder Punch on what was the Politoed, but is now the Gramble. Gramble takes that, gets paralyzed, which is fine. Gets fully parried on the Excadrill coming in. We're going to see Politoed come in with its Rain, set up its Rain, and take a big, meaty Earthquake. Banette comes in as the Gramble comes in off the double. Very, very nice play by Rennie. We're going to knock that Gramble off, get rid of its leftovers, as it does go for the Play Rough. Big, big damage. Banette goes for the Destiny Bond, and unfortunately, on that turn, the Gramble gets paralyzed. Excadrill comes in here. Gonna be able to take out the Gramble here, eventually. Thanks to getting it right on the switch there with the Goodra, but we're going to see the Flare Blitz come out from the Talonflame, take out the Excadrill immediately. Politoed is here, able to allow Rennie to completely keep control over the weather. T-Tar is actually faster than the Politoed, which is really nice, being able to take it out with the Thunder Punches. But Brave Bird everything, once again, as per the usual, Talonflame is going to be able to take out the T-Tar, and it is faster than Banette, so obviously due to priority brackets, it's going to be able to take out the Banette. So Talonflame once again proving why it was such a dominant force in OU back in the day. Typical Talonflame stuff here. Not much more else you can say. Jamie is making some more trades in the future, so hopefully that will allow him to get back on track. He has been very vocal about the fact that he's not a very big fan of his team. He's just trying to make whatever little changes here and there that he thinks he can to improve it. So hopefully with those changes in the future, he'll be able to bounce back. So I think we all know how good Jamie can be. He's pulled off some absolutely insane, very creative sets in the past, so I fully expect some of those to come out here in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, another dominant performance by Rennie with his Talonflame. Let's move forward. Well, we found a matchup that we're going to definitely have to play on fast speed. We have Anthony and the Windy City Bolt Strikers with their Magnezone, Breloom, Nidoqueen, Starmie, Clefable, and Mega Charizard X, taking on Deshawn and his Bridgeport Sandacondas with his Mega Medicham, Blissey, Skarmory, Cloyster, Raikou, and Chinchino. Obviously, Deshawn has the bulkiest team in the entire league by a considerable margin. He also has Mega Medicham, which is one of the most dangerous wall breakers in the league. So he has a very, very well built, diverse team of monsters to deal with. It's easily one of the best drafts I've seen in a while. So no surprise that it has been very difficult for people to topple him so far in this season. We're going to see how well Anthony does. Anthony is known as a really top-tier team builder. It is what he does best. It is one of his specialities. So we're going to see how that plays out for him in this matchup. Let's go ahead and hop right in. We see Raikou lead off against the Starmie. Obviously, a much more favorable matchup here, as he goes for the HP Ice immediately on the Nidoqueen coming in. Perfectly, like, very easy prediction to make turn one, and it worked out exactly in his favor. We do see the T-Wave come out from the Blissey onto the incoming Breloom. Spore is going to come out onto the Skarmory, which is perfectly fine. I don't think he's too worried about that. We see Magnezone come in on the Raikou. Raikou's just going to be able to Volt Switch out here. Blissey comes in, choose the Volt Switch, but this indeed gives Anthony a little bit more of a favorable position. Mach Punch does a huge amount as Blissey sets up the rocks. Big damage from the Breloom here. Breloom then just goes for the Bullet Seed. Does very negligible damage to the Skarmory here. That's going to be able to burn a turn of sleep. Starmie comes in. Starmie's going to Rapid Spin, get rid of the rocks. It's so weird seeing Rapid Spin not give the +1 boost anymore. It's really, really weird. We're going to see the Blissey come back in here on the Thunderbolt. Life Orb Thunderbolt still not being able to take it out, even from such a low percentage. But Scald's going to be able to get rid of the Blissey. Life Orb Chip is definitely catching up to the Starmie here, as we're going to see Chinchino come in and go for the knockoff. Gets rid of the Assault Vest for the Magnezone. Very, very good to have that gone. Volt Switch is going to come out here, though, from that Magnezone as Raikou comes in. You'll see the HP Ice come out again onto the Nidoqueen, as the Nidoqueen just going to go straight for the Earth Power and take out the Raikou. Anthony's slowly but steadily really chipping down and breaking through Deshawn's team, but we're going to see Mega Medicham start to do its typical Mega Medicham nonsense. Able to take out the Nidoqueen there. He switched out with the Mega Medicham. I assume he's just thinking that the Breloom might be sashed, which I think was a good call on his part. He goes for the Fake Out here onto the incoming, onto the Charizard, but ends up being the incoming Magnezone, then just be able to high jump kick it. Knows he can go for that safely because it was Assault Vest, so he's not Pack and Protect. Very good stuff for him there. We're going to see the Skarmory take a Moonblast, and then we're going to see Chinchino come in on the Calm Mind. Goes for that Tail Slap. Big damage racking up there on the Clefable, as the Moonblast is actually going to be able to take it out immediately. I was not expecting that to kill. I know Chinchino's frail as a duck, but I was not expecting that to kill immediately. Fake Out, big damage from the Fake Out, and then the Zen Headbutt is actually going to be able to take out the Clef. Man, I always forget how ridiculously hard-hitting Mega Medicham is. Personally, I've never had any problem with it, but then again, I always seem to have like the exact kind of counter you need for a Mega Medicham on my team. Mach Punch does crazy damage to the Cloyster here, as it's actually going to be able to go for an Ice Shard here to break any potential sash the Breloom did have. Mach Punch is going to be able to take out the Cloyster. We're going to see the Fake Out here. Big damage once again. And Bullet Punch to avoid taking any chip from the Mach Punch from the Breloom, which is really, really smart on his part. Skull is going to be able to take out the Skarmory here, and we're going to see Medicham with the Fake Out. Big damage onto the Zard. Flare Blitz is just too much. It's going to take out the Medicham, and Anthony's going to be able to pick up a big, big win here. Yeah, he prepped and played really, really well. He made all the right turns to break down his team. I think the big thing that ended up being a thing here, and this like maybe a prep oversight on Deshawn's part, is his Skarmory kept getting put to sleep, when realistically that thing could have been a free switch into Breloom every single time if he had just brought it with safety goggles. I think if he had been goggles on his Skarmory, being able to just bring it in, not get spored, take basically no damage from anything that is going to click, and then be able to defog, set up hazards, or just click like a meaty Brave Bird or something. I think that would have been really, really, really nice to have, especially since he was able to take care of the Magnezone so efficiently. I think if he had been goggles, that would have been really, really cool. I'm sure he was probably Shed Shell, realistically. That was probably the most likely item here. But, did we see an item on the Skarm? Did we see an item on Skarm? We did not. So I'm going to make the assumption that was probably the case. Yeah, we didn't see any item on Skarm anywhere, so I'm going to assume that was probably it. But I definitely think that, like, based upon how the match played out, if he had been goggles, I think that would have been really, 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 really crucial, I think, for the state of the matchup. So I don't think there was actually any instance where... I don't think there was an instance where Magnezone and Skarmory ended up on the field at the same time. I think the way he played it was really, really great. Obviously, like, the situation was always a possibility. But, yeah, he played it really, really well to prevent that from ever being the case. So, I think if he had played exactly the same way and prevented it the way that he did, I think goggles would have been very, very huge for this matchup, and would have been potentially a completely different game. But really well played by Anthony. He utilized his tools effectively. Deshawn will absolutely bounce back from this. He's been a demon to face so far this season, so I'd be shocked if there was any instance where he wasn't doing well here. So yeah, good game to both guys. Let's continue onward. Next up, we have this season's revitalized monster in James and the Myrtle Magikarps with his Mega Gyarados, Leavanny, Mienshao, Waste of Space, Bisharp, and Noivern, taking on Jason and his Niflheim Ninetales with the Ditto, the first round overall pick, the Mega Lopunny, Raichu, Crawdaunt, Nidoking, and Slowking. He brought the King duo this week. Let's see how they will be utilized against James and his Gyarados there. Let's see what's going on. We see the U-turn there on the Nidoking first turn. Ice Beam comes out, does a decent little chunk to the Torkoal. Earth Power is going to nuke that thing as it goes for the Yawn. But Torkoal's basically been neutered. Raichu's going to come in here on the sunny day. He wanted to make sure that Torkoal is getting the sun up. What a nutcase. What an absolute mad lad. Leavanny comes in here, sets up the sticky webs as the Slowking just goes for the flamethrower here and gets the burn. Is able to completely take out the Leavanny immediately. That's very rough. Leavanny would have done a lot of work there, I think. He's definitely would have been a very, very threatening Mon under the sun there, being able to just nuke most of what Jason had. I think Leavanny would have been a very, very big threat, but the flamethrower burn was really, really crucial there. The paralysis on this Gyarados is definitely unfortunate. And we see the Ditto come in here, and it's actually able to do a crazy, crazy amount of damage. But the Earthquake is going to be able to take it out there. But chipped, the Gyarados being so chipped down is very, very huge. Fake Out does big, big damage to the Noivern here. Noivern goes for Psychic, gets a crit on the Raichu, and is able to U-turn out here, but gets Static Para'd. Oh, dang. As Raichu's going to be able to get off a fat 83% on that Mienshao, and obviously putting it in range for Fake Out to be able to take it out. Ice Punch, thanks to the Para, obviously, even at -1 speed, Lopunny's going to be able to outspeed. High Jump Kick, just straight up nuking the Bisharp. And then, once again, obviously he's still going to outspeed here. Goes for the return to be safe, and takes out the Gyarados. Big, big win for Jason here. Very, very well played. The burn on the Leavanny definitely prevented it from being able to, like, do some breaking. I think it was in a very strong position to at least break through something. But he got the Paras off on the Gyarados, and he got the lucky Para on the Noivern, which definitely put him in a very, very strong, comfortable position. Yeah, he capitalized on what he had going for him, and he nailed it for a big, big win and some big kills for the Mega Lopunny. So good game, Jason. Obviously, James, we know you'll bounce back. You've been on a tear lately, so I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So with that being said, let's just continue onward. Very simple, short, straightforward match. We move on now to Steven and his Sligo Sandacondas with Kyurem Black, Suicune, Gourgeist, Mew, Gliscor, and the Metagross taking on Eric and his East Coast Aegislashers with his Staraptor, Rotom Wash, Scizor, Magmortar, Diancie, and Kyurem. Look at all these Gen 4 threats out here. Very nice to see. We see the Gliscor, we got the Staraptor over here, got the Rotom, got the Scizor, got the Magmortar. Oh, it's almost like BDSP just came out. Really, really fun game, by the way. Really loving BDSP a lot, by the way. Just my 2 cents here. Anyways, we have this matchup. Let's go ahead and watch it. We see Kyurem here leading against the Scizor, and obviously that is not favorable. So we see the Bullet Punch come out. Only click knockoff turn 1. Everyone just doesn't click knockoff turn 1. I swear. Bisharp and Gliscor is able to get its Toxic Orb up and do its Toxic Orby things. We see the Frisk come out, obviously finding the leftovers we've already seen. Had we seen the leftovers at that point? Actually, I don't think we did. Rotom's going to Volt Switch out here, not staying in on that, as we see the Gourgeist go for a sub. Very, very cool. Fire Blast is going to break that sub. We're going to see the Seeds come out, as we do also know that the Magmortar is faster, so you can't just sub-seed shenanigans all over it. We see Suicune come in here on that Fire Blast. Gets burned. Very unfortunate. But obviously it has the Leech Seed on him to mitigate that. Mew comes in as the Kyurem does. Big Draco Meteor does a crazy amount to Mew as it just sets up the rocks. Gonna switch out now into the Metagross to chew up the next Draco. That still does 29%. That's absurd. It was absurd damage. And they thought Kyurem needed to be buffed? Crazy. Alright, Gliscor ends up in against the Rotom Wash again. Not favorable here. We're going to see Gourgeist come in as the Volt Switch comes out. Smart play on Eric's part. Holding up that momentum. Staraptor's going to be able to come in here, and you know, we know what Staraptor does. Brave Bird. Takes out the Mew on the switch in. Metagross comes out, obviously, to click Zen Headbutt here. Gets some more chip damage off on this Scizor, who just goes for a roost as the Gliscor comes in. Smart play on his part, keeping himself healthy. We see that Life Orb as now he goes for the knockoff, and Gourgeist goes down. Eric is holding the momentum very, very strongly so far. Rotom comes in on the Fire Fang, coming out from the Gliscor. Very, very smart here. Kyurem Black comes in, onto the Rotom, as the Rotom actually goes for the Hydro Pump this time, trying to catch the Gliscor after he staying in after he knows he goes for the Volt Switch a bunch. Goes for the Pain Split as he goes for Sub. Ooh, Kyurem gets behind the Sub, and that is crucial. He's able to go for the Earth Power thanks to his Terravolt ability. Take out the Rotom. Diancie's going to come in here, eat an Earth Power. Is able to take out the Sub with the Diamond Storm. And now he is faster, making him a very large threat. Diamond Storm comes out. Does not get the defense boost again. But goes for the HP Ice to take out the Gliscor. Very good prep on Eric's part. Obviously, he has to switch here from the Metagross, as the Suicune is... Steven makes the double into Suicune. Very good play. Scald comes out here. No burn, as we do see the knockoff come onto the Suicune, getting rid of its leftovers, making that burn chip all the more important. U-turn is going to take out the Scizor, unfortunately, and the Suicune. It's going to be a double down here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to the Life Orb into the burn. We see Kyurem outspeeding the Magmortar here, as Magmortar misses a Rock Slide. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate that he missed that Rock Slide. That is big. Close Combat does not take out the Kyurem. Kyurem is able to live that and take out the Staraptor with an Ice Beam. Diancie's going to be able to come in here, click the Diamond Storm, and take out the Kyurem. But, unfortunately, if that Rock Slide had landed, man, that's tough. Unfortunately, though, Metagross is just going to be able to come in here and click Bullet Punch a couple of times. It is indeed Shook-a-Berry. Look at that. No surprise there. And be able to take out the Metagross. Wow. Or the Kyurem. Wow. What an absolute slugfest. This was a game and a half. Eric, to his credit, he had that momentum pretty much the whole game. As soon as the turn happened with the Pain Split into the Sub, that was big. That was very big. That turn right there was so massive, because it allowed the Kyurem to basically break half of the rest of his team before it was able to be stopped. Very, very unfortunate series of events for Eric in that one. Wow. What a match. What a match. That was actually probably one of my favorite matches I've watched in a while. That was a really, really solid one. But we gotta keep moving, because I gotta go to work soon. Woohoo! GG's to Steven. Moving on to the penultimate match of the week, we have James and the Memphis Brave Birds with his Hitmonlee, Mega Gardevoir, Vaporeon, Togetic, Salamence, and Dugtrio, taking on Alan and the Manila Metals with his Chandelure, Landorus Therian, Mega Absol, and Empoleon, which he just got from Jesse, and the Jolteons, Tangrowth, and Slowbro. So Regen Core, let's see how the Regen Core does here. See Vaporeon lead against the Slowbro. I'm just going to throw off an immediate Toxic. We're going to trade Toxics immediately. No surprise there. As it should be. Tangrowth comes in on the Vaporeon as it just heal bells and gets rid of it. Says, no, I don't think I'll be toxic today, sir. Togetic comes in and gets knocked off immediately, losing its Eviolite. Very unfortunate start for the Togetic. Empoleon comes in here as Gardevoir comes in. Not favorable here, as we're going to see the Vaporeon come in on a Yawn. Very good prep with the Yawn on the Empoleon. However, Empoleon does get trapped here and lives the Earthquake and takes out the Dugtrio. Very, very, very good stuff for the Empoleon here. Lando T comes in on the Salamence here as Salamence goes for a substitute. Lando's going to outspeed here, presumably Scarfed. Hits the Rock Slide. Misses the second one, which I think probably actually would have killed from that range. As the Dragon Claw comes out here, does some big damage. Dragon Claw into Slowbro, also doing a good chunk of damage. He's going to keep clicking it. No reason not to, but the Ice Beam is going to come out here and take out the Salamence. Slowbro is getting chipped down by that Toxic, but now Gardevoir can just come in and click buttons. Goes for the Shadow Ball. Surprised he didn't just click Hyper Voice. I guess it was probably just to prevent the Chandelure from coming in for free. Rock Slide comes out, does good damage to the Togetic here. To get to the flinch on the Togetic, very unfortunate. Don't know what the Togetic was going for there, but that was, you know, it's never fun to get flinched like that. Shandy comes in here on a Poison Jab. We see the Life Orb from the Hitmonlee here. Flame Charge comes out from Chandelure. Very cool prep. Very, very cool prep. Do love that. Energy Ball does a good chunk to the Vaporeon. Gets the Spadef drop. But the Scald is going to be able to take out the Chandelure. So no 6-0s for Alan here. We just see him go for the Scald here on the Tangrowth. Gets the burn on it. I would have figured he would have gone for the Toxic instead for the long-term damage. But I guess at this point in the match it was a little bit past the point of going for long-term damage. We see Poison Jab come out as the Slowbro comes in. Taking some Toxic Chip and the Poison Jab chip. Napoleon's going to come in here on the Poison Jab. And we see Slowbro on the Mach Punch. So Hitmonlee's just taking more Life Orb chip and not really getting too much ground here. Gardevoir's going to come in here on the Scald. Now he can just click Hyper Voice pretty freely here, I think. He goes for a Calm Mind. Ooh, big Calm Mind there. He goes for Psyshock. Why not? Why did he not click? Why did he not click Hyper Voice there? Hyper Voice is just a nuke here. Why is he just not clicking Hyper Voice in this one? I'm very confused. Goes for the Protect with the Absol. Now he clicks Hyper Voice. Very surprised he didn't just start clicking Hyper Voice there. There's a lot of instances, especially even early game, where like nothing really came in on Hyper Voice comfortably. And if it did, like you outspeed, probably just kill it afterwards. We're going to see him go for the Endure here. I don't know why he had Endure on the set. I don't know if he just like switched items on it. Had like an old set or something, but I'm not entirely sure as to the logic on that one. I think maybe he was trying to live a knockoff, get the Unburden boost after the off the Absol, and then maybe you can just go from there. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that play was. I definitely think that he could have just been clicking Hyper Voice a lot more. The fact that he only clicked one Hyper Voice in this match was a little bit crazy to me. I definitely think that would have been absolutely absurd damage-wise, especially since he got Empoleon weakened down so early. Yeah, but unfortunately, that is how the match goes. Slowbro is going to get the kill on the Hitmonlee there. So, yeah, that's it for that one. We move on to our final game of the week. And that final game of the week is going to be my match against Gavino and the Venice Beach Victinis. He brought the Shaman, Victini, Seismitoad, Dusclops, Mega Manectric, and Jirachi, as I decided to bring the Thundurus, the Volcarona, the Hoopa Unbound, Mega Sceptile, Donphan, and Mawile. So let's go ahead and hop into this one real quick. We're going to see what's gonna go down. We do see the Sceptile lead against the Seismitoad here. Just forgot to Mega Evolve there. Oopsies. Dragon Pulse does a little tiny chunk to the Dusclops. We do miss the Toxic, as he does able to land one on us. Very unfortunate, as getting a Toxic on this thing early would have been really nice. But yeah, Jirachi gets burned on the Flame Body U-turn off of Volcarona very quickly. Volcarona is going to go for the Bug Buzz here onto incoming Dusclops. Nightshade comes out into Widow here, as we're just going to be able to set up our Stealth Rocks. Mega Manectric goes for the Flamethrower into the incoming Donphan here. Very Spadef Donphan, as we're able to just chew that up, and we're just going to go straight for a knockoff. We do see the Rocky Helmet on the Seismitoad. We're just going to get rid of that immediately, not dealing with that. We go hard out into Thundurus as he sets up rocks of his own. We're going to be able to click Grass Knot here, take out the Seismitoad, which is very, very awesome. Manectric comes in here. We're actually going to go hard into Hoopa this time, predicting the HP Ice. So, works out very well, as we're able to just click Hyperspace Fury and just nuke something. And Jirachi does go down there. He goes back into the Manectric, clicks Thunderbolt on us, gets the Para, But Hyperspace Fury still does an absurd amount of damage, and works out really, really well. Predicting him not to click HP Ice here, but do just go hard out into the Sceptile. As we do tank the Flamethrower, we're able to take out the Manectric with the Sceptile, which is very cool. He goes into Shaman here. Just goes straight for an HP Fire, as does reveal this thing is Assault Vested as heck. As he takes us out with the Dazzling Gleam here. Thundurus comes in, just goes for the knockoff onto the incoming Dusclops, is able to get rid of its EV Light and then take it out with a Thunderbolt afterwards. In comes Victini, and worried as heck that this thing is choiced in some way, shape, or form. We switch out into the Widow to sack it, essentially, get the Intimidate off, but we do see that it is not choiced, it is indeed Life Orb, and now not only is it in range of rocks, but we are able to get a Sucker Punch off on it, which puts us in a very good spot. Thundurus is going to be able to take it out with a knockoff here, as we do see it being Thundurus v Shaman here. We do eat our Citrus Berry off the Dazzling Gleam after getting rid of its Assault Vest. We're going to throw off a Thunder Wave on it just to ensure the victory here. Hits us with a hard Seed Flare. We don't really have anything to hit this thing with, unfortunately. He goes with the Air Slash, predicting us to switch here. So we do go into Volcarona, but we are going to be able to take out the Shaman here with the Volcarona. Volcarona making its debut, getting 1 kill, doing all the work. But yeah, big win for us, big 4-0 win. We definitely needed that to bounce back off of our loss last week against James. So yeah, very, very cool. So with that being said, that is going to conclude our matchups for this week. Let's go ahead and hop over to the kill leaderboard. With that, we conclude our matchups for week 4 and come on over to the kill leaderboard, where we have had a lot of moving and shaking go down. Let's take a look at what we got going on over here. In the top spot, brave birding everything, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Los Angeles Darkrise with their Talonflame, 11 kills, 1 death, plus 10 differential. Man, what a demon creature that Talonflame has been. It is nearly untouchable. I am thoroughly impressed with how he's utilized it. He's incredibly good at keeping rocks off the field, and overall I think Rennie was the most dangerous coach to get this mon in the long run, for sure. Definitely not looking forward to facing it in the future. Next up, we have Sylveon from the Greenwich Giratina, still not killed. 10 kills, 0 deaths. Guys, this is absurd. This thing cannot be allowed to live this long. I am so thoroughly blown away that this thing has done so well without being killed. I am genuinely impressed at how well Alex has used it this season so far. Very, very pleased with his performance. I'm genuinely blown away. Excited to see how well he continues to use it going forward. It's quite the powerful mon, to say the very least. Yeah, so that's that. The hit is still out, ladies and gentlemen. This thing must die. If you succeed in the hit, I'm not going to tell you what you're going to get, because you're probably not going to get anything, but if you succeed in the hit, you will have my utter respect and admiration. Next up, we have Milotic from the Auckland Ambipoms, zooming onto the list by just being a toxic and horrible creature. It's watching it dismantle this week, gaining 5 kills, was just, it was appalling. It was depressing. So it sits at 10 kills, 1 death, plus 9 differential. Incredibly powerful. in the hands of Liam, this thing is always going to be a threat. He just knows how to use it, man. He knows how to use it. He knows how to use it well. And I hate that about him. Big sigh. Next up, we have Jason and the Niflheim 9 Tailors with his Mega Lopunny sitting at 10 kills and 3 deaths. Well, he might not be doing as well as he would like. Currently, like, near the bottom of the leaderboard. He's getting some momentum back now. His Lopunny has never once faltered. This thing has proven week after week why it is a number 1 pick, period. It's just amazing. It's just genuinely amazing. I am always, like, blown away for some reason that this mod does so well, even though on paper it should always do well. So good on Jason for once again proving why this mod is so good. Now, at the bottom of the top 5 here, we have Mega Gyarados from the Myrtle Magikarps getting slowly but steadily knocked off its throne. This thing took an early lead, and everything else is now starting to overtake it. Knowing James, I'm sure he will find plenty of ways to snag a few more kills for this thing, keep it up on top of the leaderboard for as long as physically possible. Fully expect it, because let's be real, James has a quite healthy obsession with this shrimp monster thing, so I'm surely expecting to see this thing pop off and move up a few spots again later on, for sure. Moving on, we have Mega Medicham from the Bridgeport Sandacondas with 8 kills and 1 death, plus 7 differential. This thing rocketing onto the kill leaderboard after a really dominant performance this week. Mega Medicham is one of those mons that definitely is underrated and underutilized because it's somewhat limited in its move pool at times. If you have a Psychic type, a really solid Psychic type, specifically a pure Psychic type, you can pretty much wall this thing to no end, which is very saddening, but overall this thing is incredibly impressive, especially in Deshawn's hands. You just don't realize how much of a wall breaker it is until you try switching into it, and then your resist takes 40, and then you're just like, what do I do now? So, very impressive performance so far with this mon. Definitely looking to see this thing creep its way even higher. Then we move on to Mega Diancie from the East Coast Aegis Slashers. 7 kills, 2 deaths, plus 5 differential. Mega Diancie is another one of those mons that just, it has the stats to be a demon consistently, and Eric is proving that on a consistent basis. It is being very well utilized. It is unfortunately one of those mons that like kind of requires you to almost run Protect all the time to Mega it, because of the simple fact that its base speed's so low. But overall, I think it's a really, really solid mon. And one that I won't be surprised to see up here for a good portion of the rest of the season. Now we have a tie at 8th place with 2 of my mons, Mega Sceptile and Thundurus Incarnate. Mega Sceptile, I'm learning very quickly, like, it's just that good. Anything with that kind of speed is always going to be good, especially if it has the punching power to back it up. And it just so happens that Mega Sceptile does, which is really cool. Very happy that it's been doing so well for us. And, hopefully, we can continue to utilize it to the best of its ability. As for Thundurus, this thing is basically being hard carried this season by the fact that Thunder Wave doesn't miss, like in future generations. So that's always a good thing. Literally the best thing possible. I just like being able to paralyze things and just whenever I want. It's a very pleasing thing to deal with. So definitely a huge fan of that. Really, really happy to have that mechanic available. And last but not least, we have Shaman from the Venice Beach Bikini, sitting at 6 kills and 3 deaths, closing out the top 10. Gav has been utilizing Shaman incredibly well. He utilized Assault Vest Shaman against me, and it was definitely a massive pain in the butt. It's a mon that just hits hard. It just hits hard consistently. And with base 100 across the board, like, it's got all the natural bulk. You don't really have to do too much to it to make sure it just lives hits for a stupidly long time. So, very impressive performance by Shaman so far this season, and I look to see Gav continue that. One honorable mention, just barely missed the list by 1 death, being Weavile from the Los Angeles Dark Rise, sitting at 6 and 4. It's a frail duck, but it's one that hits like a truck, and I would not... This is another one of those mons that very easily can pick up 2-3 kills in the game, if utilized properly, and shoot onto the kill leaderboard like it's nothing. So, this is one to definitely keep an eye on in the future weeks. And speaking of which, let's take a look at what next week has in store. Now to take a look at our matchups for next week. Week number 5 is coming, and we have some more stellar matchups for you guys. We have, first up, Alex and the Greenwich Guillotines taking on Alan and the Manila Metals. Alan hasn't really gotten going this season, though he's running a little bit of momentum off of his win against James this past week. Will he be able to parlay that momentum into a win over the currently undefeated Alex, who has been a dominant force so far this season, absolutely just destroying everybody in his path? Definitely going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Very much looking forward to it. Then we have the Sligo Sandacondas taking on the Los Angeles Dark Rise, Steven versus Rennie. Can Steven be the one to stop Bury Bird everything? It's a tough thing to slow down, but Steven is an incredibly top-notch player, so you never know. You never know what kind of stuff someone can pull out to deal with that kind of nonsense. Then we have Liam and the Auckland Ambi Palms taking on Anthony and the Windy City Bolt Strikers. Liam has been, once again, dominant as per usual, with his disgustingly strong team. It's really, really hard to break through, but if anyone has the tools to break it, I believe it's Anthony, and I think Anthony's creative team building is going to be very, very key in this matchup in order to find a way through Liam's overpowering defensive force. Then we have the Bridgeport Sandacondas taking on the Brisbane Rillaboomers. This is the last week before Jamie gets his team changes, so hopefully he'll be able to pull out a win and head into that new lineup with some fresh faces. He's been struggling so far to kind of get a hold on his team. He's not a big fan of it, but he's hoping that maybe with some of these changes he can get a good footing. And Deshaun is coming off of his, I believe this is his first loss this season against Anthony, so hopefully that hasn't shaken his confidence and he'll be able to still play at the very top of his game. Next up we have myself and the Anaheim Appletons taking on Jason and the Niflheim 9 Taylors. I don't remember if I've played Jason in this league so far since he's joined. If I haven't, I'm very much looking forward to it because I do very much like Jason. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's a really, really cool person. He's definitely has a very high opinion of NPBF, and it makes me very happy that he has such a high opinion of the league, and hopefully I don't tarnish it in 1 week. Definitely looking forward to it though. Jason's a really cool dude and really solid player, and his team scares me, especially because he has Mega Lopunny, and that is one of my favorite and least favorite mons at the same time in draft. Then we have the J-Dog Jolteons taking on the East Coast Aegislashers, Jesse versus Eric. Eric has been doing pretty consistently well this season. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, but overall he's been performing very solidly, and Jesse just hasn't been able to get out of the blocks. Hopefully his growing pains with the new squad this past week were a fluke, and he'll be able to really get going this week. Really start picking up some momentum. Because Jesse's incredibly solid. I mean, he won the championship last season for a reason. He's a really, really top-notch player. Hopefully we'll be looking to see him, finally start picking up some wins. I think that'd be really, really cool. So, Eric's a tough opponent to get past, so we'll see if he'll be able to pull it off. We have the Venice Beach Victinis and Gavino taking on James and the Myrtle Magikarps. He's going to bring the teams he's going to bring, but the guy, you can never say he doesn't play well. Even if he doesn't consistently prep fresh, brand new teams almost every single week, he basically he brings the same comfortable 6 or 7 mons consistently, and still manages to do well enough to not be knocked down to D-League, and manages to bring a lot of his games down very close, even if he's in defeat. That's impressive as it is. Gav is really, really solid, and it seems like even if he's on the cusp of D-League, he always finds a way to pull out last-ditch 3-4 weeks of madness, and he just clears the danger zone. So definitely always looking to see Gav put in crazy work, but he's up against James, and James is looking to get Mega Gyarados back up on top of that kill leaderboard. So definitely a force to be reckoned with, to say the least, in this one. Very much looking forward to this matchup. This is actually going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a sleeper match this week, I think, in my opinion. And last but not least, we have James and the Memphis Brave Birds taking on Chris and the Nottingham Nihil Legos. Chris has been doing consistently well so far this season. Typical Chris, he does well pretty much every season he's a part of. And James has been kind of faltering the last couple weeks. He's had a few rough matchups and a few rough games. Hopefully he'll be able to boost his confidence back up and be able to bring his best against Chris, because Chris is one of those coaches that you just kind of need to bring your best against every single time. So hopefully he'll be able to do just that. But yeah, these are our matchups for week number 5. Stay tuned for that recap. I'm not entirely sure when it's going to get up. Scheduling has been a little bit difficult when it came to recording in the past couple weeks, but hopefully we will be able to get something scheduled and together sooner rather than later, and get this out to you guys faster. But with that being said, my name is Jeff. I also go by PokePrimer, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.